especially the Mac OS, the Aqua interface is still same as the current version of the Mac OS. And nowadays, it's quickly turning to the touch screen base. Even I'm suffering from the pain of the tip of the finger if too much use. So one time, it's 5-6 years ago, in the multimedia database class, we actually tried to develop the non-touch, the control of the touch screen using camera. But we realized that that is already patented by the Apple. They already patented 10 years ago. But interestingly, if you search the patent database, there are a lot of things. So it's already, if you imagine, most of them are already filed. So they just file and just idea. So, but I believe that such a touch screen base will be changing a lot. So really. So, and one of them is the pressure. So you can simply touch or the press hard or really hard will be different functionality. So that is already implemented. Okay. Then another part of the operating system is the system core. There are two versions. Main part, one is Windows. Windows is, you already know, Windows API. Windows API is the system library provided by the Windows. The Unix is the POSIX API. So POSIX API is the Unix version, the system library. They are variants, but all of them are from the POSIX API. So we will see the next class, the history of the Unix, then we will see a little bit more about such a POSIX API. So two versions. If you are using the Windows or the Windows, it's a Windows API. Nowadays it's called the Win32 API or Windows API. So you probably used sometime such a Windows API. The POSIX API is for the Linux or the Unix system, or the Mac OS is also. Why Mac OS? We will see later. Somebody consider Java API is such a system library. The reason is that how the Java is working. So we have the ABC, the class Java file. We need to compile. We have the ABC.class file. So using this class file, we can instantiate in other main, the driver program. What happened? In the memory, it will be instantiated everywhere, anywhere? No. Instead, there is a Java virtual machine. So Java reserve the area of the memory. So default is 500 megabyte maximum, but sometimes you realize it's out of memory. And if you are playing the, what is that? Minecraft. The Minecraft, do you play the Minecraft? Really? Same level as this one. Minecraft need like the bigger size of the memory. They suggest changing the Java virtual machine size. Minecraft is nothing but the Java program. So I heard that some of the mom study the Java because the kids want to something to add a new the library and so on. So Java virtual machine is the reserved area in the, so inside we consider this is the virtual machine. So their functionality is almost the same as the operating system. So somebody consider is including the author of this textbook is the operating system. So their API is considered the system library. So that is the reason this one is as a part of the system library, but I do not agree. So this is separate. So we need to consider separately in the virtual machine area. Okay, it's not directly the consider the hardware part is based on the other operating system. Okay, so I'm not going to consider this as a Java virtual machine as the Java API as a system library. Okay. Then So for example, how to use the system library. So in the source file, if we use the Java, so create instantiate the file string, and then we read the data and close it. And inside the Java API, they will use the system library. That system library includes such a it's provided by the operating system. For example, in this case, very hard to see the ptrace. There is a exit. There is a read open. The read. So this is the read the data from the buffer and the write, and I cannot find the open the file and so on. So they will use inside API, inside the API they will use such a system library. So this is the system. This is the example of the POSIX, the system library. How we can use? Just use it. It's very simple to use. You can just call the library, and then the most of the system library is a very simple program. The Unix programming is a very simple programming. So this is an example of the copy. So when we copy the file, first open the file and check the status of the file and the open, and in this case the read and write only. And send the file is from the one file and source to destination and close it. So this is the source code of CP command. And such a CP command is coded by the operating system. It's called the system, the programming, or the Unix program. If you are interested in more about the Unix programming, you can take the Unix programming class offered by I think the Avgenie. Later. So this is one of the examples. You can see the green color or yellow color are the system library. What about the Windows? In the Windows is the same thing, like the read file and the write file and the create file. These are the Windows API, Win32 API, so we can use it. So how does the operating system execute such a system library? Whenever from here, this is the user logic, okay, user part. But whenever it meets such a system library, then the mode is changed to the kernel mode and pass the parameter value. Parameter value is like this one and this one to the kernel. Then kernel execute the system library. So that is how to use the dual mode for the execution of the system library. Okay? And then at that time we need to communicate the user mode and the kernel mode by passing the parameter. I'm going to skip. Then different types of the system library. So you don't have to memorize the 100 or the 200 system library, but just the best way, Googling. If you do not have the Google, another way is, I think in the exercise lab, the GA will introduce. Oh, it doesn't have them. So it's a manual page. So manual page is kind of help command, so you can use the man page. So for example, I'd like to know how to create a process. So man -k, the process. Then it will show the whole system library that you can use the wait and the repo and some exec is scroll up. So like the exec and fork, and such a command will be used in the library, So different types. So you can search the system library whenever you need. You don't have to memorize. But the types of the system call include the file management, device management, information maintenance, communication, and the protection, and so on. These are the most popular system library. So you will use some of them in your project. So first project, the first programming assignment, you need to create, you are able to create the number of processes, then communicate. At that time, you should be able to use a fork and EXEC, and then for the communication, so you need to use either pipe or the shared memory, or you can implement the socket program, which means the TCP/IP communication. So most of the time, the TCP/IP communication, but you can also use the pipe. We will see the more details in the chapter 3, what is the communication method and how to create the process. And for the file manipulation, you can use such as open, read, and write, and close the system library. Windows provide the same thing but differently, but you can understand what are they. Okay. Then somebody should let me know it's already passed. Okay, so next class, we will continue. I think the last part of the operating system will be done quickly, then followed by the exercise. Please bring your laptop and should be connected and charge it at least for the 20 to 30 minutes, and that will be NW 104. Okay, thank you, and see you next class. Yes.
For the homework,
Do we have a homework?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's definitions or
Just
in our own words, right? Or like look up a definition.
unless you copy and paste, it's okay. So you can type.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a review. Yes.
Oh yeah.